I personally go by all pronouns. I use he, she, and they pronouns. I think largely because I'm confused right now. Like, in the least, like, I'm trying to be mean-spirited towards myself. Like, I haven't gotten my stuff figured out. And I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I don't know what or who I am. And I think that's okay. I think I'm 24, and not all 24-year-olds know who they are, what's going on. A lot of stuff make me happy. I feel like I'm very easy to please. And as long as I'm like with friends, and even if I'm not with friends, even if I'm just with strangers, like as long as you don't have like a hateful energy, as long as you are also there to have a good time, like I'm somebody who like I'm able to have a good time. I'm able to kind of like show up, show out and everything, and it's very, very fun. Who do I feel like I am deep down? Who do I feel like I am deep down? That's a very complicated question. Am I deep down? I don't know. I feel like I always go to this, like, especially with my gender and everything being the kind of person that I am. I figured a lot of stuff out, like, pretty late in life. And especially whenever it comes to my gender, I kind of always just say, like, I'm a person. And I very much so just feel like a person. I feel like a person that lives on planet Earth the way we all are. And I'm no different than anybody, and nobody's different than me. Except for in the ways that we're all very, very different, and that makes us beautiful and everything. But I think just deep down, I'm just a person. That's all. It's a very, very like top of the iceberg kind of answer, but it's how I feel. I personally go by all pronouns. I use he, she, and they pronouns. I think largely because I'm confused right now. Like, in the least, like, I'm trying to be mean-spirited towards myself. Like, I haven't gotten my stuff figured out. I always say, like, for example, like, I didn't know that gay people existed until I was in 5th grade. And, like, my one friend was like, we had this principal, Mr. And they were like, did you know Mr. was gonna bring his husband to, like, this one, like, meeting or something we had at school? And I was like, his husband? What do you mean his husband? And they were like, yeah, like his husband. And I was like, don't you mean his wife? And they were like, no, I mean his husband. And I was like, I literally don't understand what you're saying at all. Like, I didn't comprehend it. And I slowly kind of started to learn. And then 6th and 7th grade, I felt like I was honestly pretty homophobic. Like, my parents, I come from a very conservative background. There was not a lot of tolerance in my life. And I don't know if it's just because of that. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that I'm kind of a wishy-washy person. But I feel like I'm open to being anything and being anybody. And I personally always feel like I don't know anything more about myself than anybody else does, basically. And I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I don't know what or who I am. And I think that's okay. I think I'm 24, and not all 24-year-olds know who they are, what's going on. And I think that that's okay, and I can just kind of let myself breathe is kind of how I've been trying to go about it. I think it was a lot of like, just especially like growing up with that conservative background. I grew up incredibly conservative. Everybody in my family was very, very, very conservative. And then basically the second I started 6th grade, all of my friends were gay. Every single person that I was friends with, every single person that I wanted to be friends with, that I was interested in, and like looked at them and was like, that's a cool person, I want to get to know them more, was a gay person. And so pretty early on, I really had this like divide of like, my parents are saying this type of person is going to go to hell, and this type of person, which is the same person, is the person that I want to be friends with. They're the people that are the kindest. They're the people that are the most open to hearing anything you have to say. They are the people that are going to show out the most for you. And I just found so much love in a community that I was specifically being taught to hate. And I feel like that kind of divide kind of made it hard for me to find a solid place to put my feet on. Like, I just was kind of like, whatever is hitting me in the face, like that's what's there, and I can accept it or I can't accept it if I don't want to. But for the most part, I just kind of try to go with the punches, and I think whatever is happening is what's happening, and maybe I'll end up in a place later on where it's nothing like where I am now, and that is also okay. So I just try to be letting myself live, letting myself breathe and everything. I went to the festival in Harrisburg, obviously, and there was a stand that was there. There were a lot of like homophobic people that were there, like with signs and everything, and were preaching hate, like just hate. And there was one stand that was from an organization that I actually have, the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. And they were just incredibly sweet, and they were incredibly kind in a way that I personally haven't ever experienced with religion. But I came up to them because I think just like being religious my whole life, like at the end of the day, there was a time where I felt a lot of comfort and a lot of safety in that community. And pretty early on, I lost that safety net, but was still going to those practices and experiencing them. And just talking to people that are religious but are also gay, or even just allies, like people that are comfortable with other people existing, is very comforting. And I actually got a little glitter blessing they were doing in like kind of like Ash Wednesday style. And they did a little prayer for me and whoever I wanted to. And it was just very, very comforting. And I honestly, low-key, like specifically today, there's a church right behind my apartment that I live at. So I've kind of been thinking about going to churches. I will say, personally, in terms of like, do I believe in the Catholic God? I'm not really sure. I think the answer is no. I'm pretty sure the answer is solidly no on that. But in terms of like something being out there, I've always believed that people are connected in a way that we don't understand. Like the way the trees are mulch and we can become mulch, and decay and life and that whole cycle and everything. Like that is very much so something that even if I don't believe in specifically somebody out there, I do believe in that. And I find a lot of comfort in that. And I don't know. I've been thinking about going to the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. So I like to be remembered as a girl who had fun and gave fun. Like I've always just wanted to be somebody who is comfortable in myself and feels life to the fullest, and also like gives that to people. Like is somebody that when you're maybe not feeling great and you're not feeling your best, can kind of lift that up and bring out that energy in you, and like turn up and everything, and turn up or turn out. That's what I always say.